started here with the call to order the Board of Education, USD-457, and we'll start maybe with some help on the flag salute. Buffalo Jones. We'll follow your lead. Comments on how the students were selected to help us today?
They're student council.
Oh, student council. Would you be so kind to say your name and maybe something about if you're on student council, if you have a position?
My name is Valeria Medina, and I'm student council president for Buffalo Jones.
My name is Emily Tovar, and I am vice president for student council of Buffalo Jones. My name is Diana Sued, and I'm student council. My name is Victoria Taylor, and I'm student council for Buffalo Jones. My name is Jennifer Lopez, I'm student council for Buffalo Jones.
Nice and loud. What's your name? And you're on student council?
He's extremely shy.
Well, welcome.
Christopher. That's okay. Go to this. Go to just sit.
Thank you,
You
Christopher.
say your name.
What next?
Hi, I'm Susan. I'm a student council member from Buffalo Jones. Hi, I'm Emily Dominguez, and I'm part of the student council from Buffalo Jones. My name is Norma Moyer, and I'm student council from Buffalo Jones.
Wonderful. Well, thank you for being here. We're going to get a quick picture, if that's okay with you. If you want to take about 2 steps forward, and we're going to come around behind you. Yep. That's right. And then we have a professional photographer.
All right, right here. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Okay, perfect. Thank you.
Okay, let us get to our seat, and if you would file past us, starting with that side of the table, we want to thank you for being here. On the agenda, we are ready discussion items on this? Seeing none, we'll vote. All in favor, raise your right hand. All opposed, same sign. Motion carried. Okay, let's see. Public comment, I think I've got one here. Joanne Mangan, welcome to the board.
I love my yearly trek. For those of you that don't know, this week is American Education Week, and we have several things going on this week. And there was a little flyer that Roy sent out, so everybody's involved. And I have just a small thank you to all the board members for supporting students in USD-457. Because if you didn't support students, you wouldn't support us. So thank you for that.
Thank you very much, Joanne.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
Okay, let's see. Any other public comment? Any, let's see. I guess we'll get into recognitions here under this agenda item C1, building presentation, Horace Good Middle School. Welcome to the board.
Thank you. All right, I'm going to give a brief introduction as to kind of what we're here to talk about tonight. And then I'm going to turn it over to our teachers who have kind of taken this project and run with it. And they're going to introduce their students that were able to make it tonight. Without having school today, it was a little harder to recruit the kids that were going to come here tonight, but they did get a couple of students to come. So this year we put an emphasis during our mentoring period with service learning. So mentoring period for Horace Good is a 32-minute first hour period class where all of our students have more or less like a homeroom classroom. And this is where students will stay with the teacher. So if they have Mr. Ortiz as a 7th grader, they'll have him again as an 8th grader. So kids are in that class for 2 years, and is a chance that they might not ever have Mr. Ortiz as a teacher, but get the chance to have another adult that they get to connect with that checks their grades, checks in with them every day, works with them, communicates with parents on things that are going on. And then in our class period, we run 3 days a week that is emphasized on homework support and education support, whether it's getting a chance to go make a quiz if there's a kid that was gone for an illness or an absence or an activity. They get to go see that teacher to get help. They also get to go to classes to help with any projects that are going on, things to keep them up on their education. And then 2 days of the week, we put a focus on where our kids do a variety of activities. And this is something that we schedule throughout the year. It is organized by a group of teachers, and those lessons are built throughout the year. So these are things that are required for us to do, such as bully harassment training, to we do drug alcohol training with Live Well Finney County. We also have done, we're going to do financial literacy. We have the Medal of Honor that we are adding to this time. So this is 2 days a week that we emphasize this. But this year, one of the things we thought was important to put a focus on with the classes was service learning. So we spent time with our teachers and our kids, teaching them what service learning was, gave them examples of things to do, and then challenged each class to come up with some type of a project. And we had a variety of things that went with classes saying like decorate messages, positive messages throughout the building. If you walk Horace Good halls right now, you'll see some of those up within the building. We have a group that's going to do things within the restrooms, put positive sayings in the restrooms. Support for elderly, nursing homes, shelters, other local agencies in town. Showcases throughout the building. Try to do things that beautify not only Horace Good, but also expand that to outside of the building. But with this service learning, we had really these 3 teachers that are up here today took this and ran with it even further than we probably would ever imagined. And we hope it's going to be something that's sustainable for years to come, and it's going to benefit not just students at Horace Good this year, but in the future years. So with that, we have two things that are kind of the things that are making the biggest impact within the building. And one is the Hawk Closet, and the other is the Hawk Pantry. So with that, it's called Hawks Helping Hawks. And I'm going to turn this over to Dana Horton, who is a 7th grade English Language Arts teacher, and she will talk about the Hawk Closet.
Okay, so the two things that we worked on and our classes kind of came up with those things for our mentoring hour was the Hawk Closet that my mentoring class came up with, and then the Hawk Pantry that the other mentoring classes came up with this year. The Hawk Closet, how it started, my class with our mentoring class came up with the idea and are taking charge of the closet. So students, families, staff donate gently used clothing, shoes, hygiene items, coats, gloves, all sorts of things like that. Teachers, peers, and other staff can recommend students who may need to go visit the closet, or students can voluntarily go visit the closet as well. So it's kind of a two-way. Students are then taken to the closet in private to shop for the items that they need. Our plan is also to stay open maybe a couple of afternoons after school if we feel that there is a need, because we do have all sorts of range of clothing sizes, so from small kids to adults. And then even if their family members need some things, they could come and shop at the closet as well. The class did a clothing drive. We called businesses for donations for hygiene products, and then we also put it on Facebook and that at the school too. So the next part then is the Hawk Pantry, where we're taking donations, and their class is in charge of that.
Okay, so I'm Mr. Ortiz, and with the Hawk Pantry, it was really a simple idea to start with. For years, I think a lot of teachers have always done this, maybe had a fruit snack or a granola bar in the desk, and you see somebody who's maybe losing focus, or you actually hear their stomach growling, and you extend that, hey, do you need something, or I have something, and we help them. So that was the original idea or intent, was just to help us or our students to provide for one another. And once we got the word out that this was what we felt like we wanted to do, a couple of the social studies teachers were on board with that idea, so we partnered up. And it was going to be small initially. And then Mrs. Clark heard about it, and we started talking, and it really just blew up, from there. So she took it to another level. She had a vision that it just exploded through social media, and our students really jumped on board with it too. We were able to get monetary donations. We are now working on having the students, because I think just about every student in our building has benefited from this. They, in my class, Mrs. Clark's class, Mrs. Perry's class, they come every Wednesday and they go around and they refill each teacher's box. And this is how we're feeding or getting this food out to the kids. So Mrs. Clark has another side of it I think that she'd want to talk about through the social media part, but it has just really taken off from there.
I'm Mrs. Clark, Deanna Clark. I started a Donors Choose project. I've had some success on there. It's a website where you can post projects for people to donate to your classroom, like raise school supplies that way, things like that. I posted a Donors Choose project for food items, healthy snacks, and things like that. And I was able to have one of them funded within 25 minutes and one of them funded within 24 hours for several $100s of food. I also decided one evening to create a Facebook fundraiser because I knew that there were people in the community and friends and family who might donate. And within probably 12 hours, we had $800 raised for the food pantry. And by the time it was over, we had over $1,200 that we've been able to use to buy snacks. We met with Mrs. Johnson to ensure we were within food guidelines, and we're also encouraging students to eat breakfast, especially the students with free and reduced lunches, but all students as well. We want the word to get out about that as well, and encourage our numbers to get higher in that way. And then we also had some coverage. KSN News came and did an interview of Mr. Ortiz and I and several of our students about the Hawk Pantry. We got some footage that way. And then I hail from Hoisington, and that's the last place I taught at, and a friend of mine from there works on the newspaper, and he also did an article. And then GreaterGC.com did an article. They came and interviewed some kids. And then I'm actually originally from Lucas, Kansas, and so some people back home heard about it, and they also did a news story. So we're trying to get the word out in every way that we can, because we want to continue this project. We have kids who are hungry every day. We have kids who ask for snacks. Some of them don't get the food at home like we would want them to get. So this is a way for us to ensure that they're not hungry during class, because research shows that it's hard to focus when you're hungry, and I know when I'm hungry I don't focus very well either. Lily, you want to read this? This is Lily Ann Leeper. She is an 8th grade student in my first hour mentoring class at Forest Good. Go ahead.
What students are helped by this? Like the first hour students, like us, we go and fill it up every Wednesday, like Mr. Ortiz said, and like we first go down to the class and get their buckets they have, and then we take them to Mr. Ortiz's room, which he has a little like closet that has the food in it, and then we fill it up and take it back. And then we are doing a Stack the Snack contest, which is where you bring your bring snacks to your classes. Like you bring it to a class you don't want for that day, and you stack it up. It has to get to a certain height and width for no class on that day. And then our first hour snack contest, and students and their families can donate like snacks and stuff, and like we go in sometimes and sort out the food and the stuff, like put them in different like areas in the room.
This is Gavin Norton. Gavin is in my first hour in mentoring, and I asked him to join us.
Well,
Just read how we're getting donations. Yep.
well, we're getting donations from we're getting donations from Facebook, other businesses, and students and their families, which is also students and their families is a pretty good way to get them, because they're just right at the school, and they could even ask other businesses, like if their parents work with them, they could ask that business to donate, and it could potentially help us, because like they said, it's hard to focus when you have an empty stomach, and it just helps.
Okay, so moving forward, we're going to continue to receive donations of food or money from the community, fundraising opportunities. We're going to apply for grants, both local and national. How the public can help with monetary donations. This is where it's real important. We had to make sure that all of the parents and all of the kids understood that it has to be specific donations. They have to be nut-free, individually wrapped snack items to make sure that we are falling within all the guidelines. Donations of bottled water, donations of clothing, and hygiene products. Any questions for us or the students before we go?
I've got one I might lead off with, and I think I know the answer. Nut-free because of allergies?
Yes,
Is that what it
yes.
is?
No, we have to be really careful with that.
Board, questions for presenters?
So how do you handle that? What's the logistics on the monetary donations? Is it just...
We have a hot pantry fund, and I believe there's a hot closet fund, and we go through the office. Ms. Benavidez actually handles the money for it, and then if we need to go and stock up, then we get the credit card and go to Sam's, and then we document everything.
Are you able to provide any kind of tax-free receipt or tax donation receipt for people that donate?
Yeah, I don't know that we have yet.
Nobody's asked yet, but we could do that
Yeah,
as
we
well.
could do that.
So you have a fund through the Western Kansas Community Foundation that's specifically for USD-457, and the whole thing is administered in a fashion where the checks could be written to the community foundation, and then you could actually set up your fund through the foundation, and the foundation would not only track that money, but it would also provide a receipt donors could use. Everybody likes to reduce their taxes a little bit. Businesses especially would be interested in donating when and if they can get a receipt that would help them with their tax status. So you might just consider, as this thing ramps up, using the foundation a little bit more and being able to readily provide receipts for people that donate, especially people who donate cash.
If I could just comment on that a little further. Actually, tax
donations to USD-457 are tax deductible, but it's not under 501c3, they're under a different tax code. And I can provide a receipt that you guys can use at any time, so that you could continue to do what you're doing this way. But we could also look at the foundation if you wanted, but receipts are available for us as well.
Have you noticed any hot items that seem to go faster than anything else, or?
Not really. They all go pretty quickly. Actually, mostly chips are the ones that are taken, because especially the veggie straws. I've heard kids say they're like French fries. I don't get that, but yeah, and everything goes quickly.
What about clothing?
Okay, that's more on mine. And so with clothing, it can be used or it can be new. And we have already given away, I think, 11 coats and jackets. We've given away hats and gloves. Sometimes the office will take people down there, sometimes we take them, and then we have lots of hygiene products, and they can come and shop in the drawers for what they need: toothbrushes, toothpaste, deodorant, those types of things.
So there's not necessarily a specific clothing item that is of value. Is there clothing items that are no value?
Right now, the coats and the jackets have been the highest, used section, but we've had kids come down and get jeans and long sleeve shirts. Some of them don't have any kind of long sleeve shirts, and they just have shorts. So we even had them come shop for those items. So more as we get closer to the winter, the colder months, we've given away more items. So it just depends on that individual or their family. They've even come and gotten some clothing for some of their brothers and sisters. So it just depends on the student and what their need is at home.
Do you do with clothing that you have in this way? You just take it to Goodwill, or?
We haven't had any clothing that we haven't had in the store. So right now we're in the process, we're getting 6 more shelving units because we keep getting more donations. We haven't turned anything away, and we do have a way of washing those things. So if we have things that maybe look dirty or have stains, we take them down to Lori Hayes in our sped room, and they actually wash and dry the clothing and then bring it back to us, and then we hang that back up.
So if we wanted to drop off clothes to you instead of to Goodwill, we just go to the office?
Yep, just to the front office.
And just say, here you go?
Yep.
Okay.
That would be great.
Jean, you had a.
I was just wondering, from the teacher's perspective, if you had noticed a difference in the ability of students to focus on their schoolwork or be more comfortable in class because of these programs?
I think I definitely have seen an effect, and I know that one of our science teachers has talked about how her students are much more able to focus, they're producing better work, higher test scores, things like that. Because hunger, it really is distracting, it's hard to focus when you're hungry, so this really has helped. We've already seen some benefits.
Right, and I think from, just to take that step further, I think in my class too, I'm seeing a lot, maybe a lot of students who come from, good homes and are able to provide, but for whatever reason, maybe they skipped breakfast that morning. So it's not an embarrassing thing to go to the pantry and get something to eat, because the kid right next to you might be, getting something to eat as well. So I think it's been paying off really well.
Well, I think you've sat through a few board meetings where you talked about breakfast, lunches, and those things. So to go with that, Horace Good was part of it with the high school, where they've been doing the second chance breakfast. Well, we just started that recently also, and we're feeding a little over 300 to 350 kids a day on average is what we're feeding in that first hour. And then we just started last week for the first time the after-school snack. And we started out first day doing that at about 75 to 85 kids. And we'll see, I believe we'll see that jump even more. So kids at Horace Good are getting lots of opportunity. We still see lots of kids during the lunch hours that are not eating for whatever reason. We work with, staff works with nutrition on trying to help families out, whether it's fill out another application form to get whether they qualify for free or reduced, or get a hold of parents because maybe the kid, they have not checked on whether or not their account is empty or running low. And so we're just trying to do as much as we can, which is now kind of changed to where we have limited when the hot pantry is available. It's not available throughout the morning. It's offered one time in the morning, one time in the afternoon.
Any other questions, board members? Okay, seeing that That is a fabulous initiative, and I certainly applaud you all in getting that initiative. I'm wondering if this is going to get really big, because you obviously have the leadership and the design, so that's exciting. The whole thing about kids being hungry through the day has been quite the nut to crack, so to speak. And there's a lot going on. The after-school snack, does that come with some kind of enrichment or presentation?
So it's tied to different after-school programs, whether it's our big program with Big Brothers, Big Sisters, Science Olympiad, anything that we offer in the after-school. It's not tied to athletics or activities that way, but we have enough activities going on that it now becomes available to any kid. And the after-school snack is free for any kid that wants that.
Well, thank you all very much for your presentations, particularly is it Lillian and Gavin? Thank you very much for your time on this snow day. Any other questions? Okay, thank you very much.
Can we have a student come by?
Oh, absolutely. We
This
need
young
to have.
gentleman put on a tie, we need at least shake his hand.
Well, the staff can come by too, okay? It's their leadership too. Please do.
Thanks.
What do you think? History, 8th grade history. Good, how are you?
Thank you so much. That's good work.
I believe we're ready for C2, recognition of Crystal Apple finalists.
I'm going to take that one, Mr. President. So we attempted to invite our Crystal Apple finalists. I don't know that we have any that are actually here tonight that are in attendance. So I hope we can get our wires crossed here on this, but I'll check on that tomorrow. But we have 6 outstanding finalists that will be honored on Thursday night at the Crystal Apple Banquet. And they are Alana Bates Aronson from Horsegood Middle School, Sarah Drabinsky from Charles O. Stone's Intermediate Center, Violet Dubois from Horsegood Middle School, and Kenneth Henderson Middle School, Sarah Harris from Victor Ornelas Elementary School, Barbara Hilt from Garden City High School, and Dina Wells-Keeney from A. Hubert Elementary School. 6 outstanding teachers. 3 of them will be selected as Crystal Apple winners. And kind of disappointing because we really wanted to recognize all 6 of them before that announcement was made. I really want to compliment the community on their process, on how they do this. Probably the only thing, the absolute only thing I don't like about it, and I have no idea which of the 3 are going to be selected. That's all done through a community process. But the only thing that I don't like about it is that 3 people leave Thursday night feeling like they lost. And in reality, these are 6 outstanding educators, and so it would have been nice to have them here so we could make that point. I will visit each of them this week, and I will make that point, and we may try to reschedule them at a subsequent meeting to recognize them. So outstanding teachers, and we're proud they're all from Garden City again this year.
They're probably not doing outstanding things, but I know Ms. Krasinski's doing your robotics tonight. Last one before the competition on Saturday, so I bet she did not miss that.
And it could be that they have conflicts tonight. So.
Well, thank you for those comments, Dr. Carlin. And I too want to echo the community support for this outstanding. The tradition is wonderful, and it is unfortunate that we have to, the process pares it down in the way you described. Very, very proud of our teachers. Okay, I think we're ready for agenda item C3, recognition of civic engagement, Garden City High School and Florence Wilson Elementary.
Come on up, guys.
Jay,
I'm Steve Nordby, head principal of Garden City High School, and one of, as you know, the 5 components set forth by our state board saying what a successful high school graduate obtains for their education is civic engagement, along with academic preparation and cognitive preparation and vocational skills and employability skills. Civic engagement is one of the 5 main components of what a successful high school graduate has as a result of their education. And when the state defines civic engagement, they look at it in 6 components. Instruction in government, history, law, democracy, incorporation of discussion of current local, national, and international issues in the classroom, design and implement programs that provide students with opportunities to apply what they learn through performing community service that is linked to formal curriculum and classroom instruction, offer extracurricular activities that provide opportunities for young people to get involved in their schools or communities, engage student participation in school governance, and encourage students' participation in simulations of democratic processes and procedures. This last year, our State Department asked schools across Kansas to demonstrate on a rubric how they meet all 6 of those areas of high levels of civic engagement. And so it was a pretty exhausting application, trying to show how you're exemplary in all 6 of those areas in your school. And we submitted our application at the high school. Skyla and Florence Wilson submitted their applications, and then that was in the spring, and we waited. We waited all summer long until the August state board meeting where they announced schools that had been named promising practices in the areas of civic engagement, meaning that they met at least one of the 6 criteria in exemplary areas. And we were really happy at the high school to learn that Florence Wilson Elementary was named one of those promising practices, being exemplary in one of those 6 areas. And I'll let Skyla.
And Florence Wilson was recognized for the work that we've done on civil discourse. We've really worked hard in our classrooms to promote students having those conversations with each other and being able to agree to disagree, and having students use that throughout all areas, all subject areas. You'll hear it during math if they don't agree with a partner. You'll hear it during reading if they don't, if they agree or if they disagree. And with the rhetoric that we hear in the public right now, I'm very pleased to hear our students be able to have those conversations in a polite, respectful manner, that yes, we can agree to disagree. And so that's what our school was recognized for. There were several other areas that we also received some positive comments from our Soaring Eagles Club, which is a civic club, service club, and then also for some work that we've done in helping with the Haven House. So those were some areas that our school, that we received a lot of positives. They also gave us ideas for what we could do to improve in the other areas, and we've already taken those under consideration, and we've already implemented some of those. So we're very, very excited about the next go-round. We want to get to where the high school ended up this year.
And there were, and I want to say, it was a pretty competitive, pretty tough rubric, and I think there were only 4 schools in the state chosen to be at the level where Florence Wilson was at, and so it's kind of an exclusive club to be named as someone who's doing it the right way in some of these areas. We were privileged to hear in August that Garden City High School was selected as one of the 8 schools across the state of Kansas to be named exemplary in all 6 of those areas of civic engagement, and thus named one of the Civic Advocacy Network members. And this advocacy network is a group of schools who have demonstrated their excellence in these areas and are set as schools, stations of excellence. so that other schools can come, visit, see what you're doing in these areas to maybe improve their practices. We get the privilege of presenting at the state conference on civic engagement in March to try to talk to other schools from around the state as far as how we got to the level that we were at as one of the 8 schools across the state of Kansas named as schools of excellence in civic engagement. And so we were pretty fortunate to get that designation, and then through the support of Dr. Carlin and his team, we were able to get a bus and to take this crew and a few more up to the state capitol, to Kansas State Department of Education's headquarters, and have an awards ceremony in September. So we got to make the trip up, and Commissioner Watson was there, Dr. Watson was there, our outgoing state board member Sally Cobble was there to meet us and to be on stage as we received our recognition. We're really proud of the fact that Garden City was one of only 2 districts in the state that had multiple schools named as areas of excellence across the state. The other one, I think, was Mays, and that makes us pretty proud that we're trying to set ourselves as making an impact in the community through service, but also through developing graduates that can contribute to our community and know how a community is supposed to work. It's nice to have somebody take a look from the outside and say that we're doing it the right way. And a lot of credit, all the credit really is given to the teachers and the kids that you see in front of you from the high school's perspective. Our student council, who was last year under the direction of Janet Hackett, did a great job being out in our community, doing things with our community partners and our stakeholders in a positive manner. The ladies that are here, Riley, Katie, Jade, they're out front all the time. They are known in our community, whether they're planning parades or they're doing service. And that's what we want. That's what I want as a building leader. But one of the biggest impacts that we've had in a positive manner has been led by Paul Lappin and the folks from Buffalo Coffee Shop. We wanted to make sure they were involved. Buffalo Coffee Shop is a great organization teaching kids great skills. They are the rock stars of our high school. They are, in a lot of ways, if Buffalo Coffee Shop isn't roaming the halls, our school just isn't the same. We're a little grumpier without our morning cup of coffee and Rice Krispie snack. But they set the goal to raise and to give away to charitable organizations $10,000 last year, and they met that in 9 weeks. It was closer to 15 that was raised and given away just during this last school year. And it takes student council, it takes Buffalo Coffee Shop, it takes dedicated teachers in the classroom to get to show excellence in all 6 of those areas. And so we're really, really proud of them.